We're joined this afternoon by Tom Gorringe, our new Commercial Director. Tom, welcome to the club.
Thanks for having me.
New to Rovers, but not new to football. This is your fourth club, I think.
Yeah, I've been in football for the last 10 years. So started at Portsmouth, did 4 years there straight out of university. So during a tough time at the club, joined in the Premier League. We went into administration twice during my time there, got relegated twice. So although it was a tough start, I learnt a lot. And then got the opportunity to move to Cardiff City, joined them in the Championship, got promoted to the Premier League, and then subsequently relegated from it. But again, learnt a lot, great place to be. And then the last 3 years I've been down at Brighton as head of marketing. So I've had quite a varied set of football experiences, but I think they probably stand me in good stead for some of the stuff that I'm going to see here.
Well, I'm sure Portsmouth did. I mean, you must have done probably more than one job down there. It was a really tough time when you were there.
Yeah, I mean, there was 8 rounds of redundancies during my 4 years. So I went effectively from being an intern to selling sponsorships and set up all the social media. We did ticketing strategies. I worked in every department across, particularly over the first 6 months, and then throughout the rest of the time. So yeah, learnt a lot. And I think there's a lot of similarities actually between Portsmouth and Rovers in terms of the infrastructure and the setup and the passionate fan base that kind of fuels the club and keeps them going. So yeah, learnt a lot, and there's lots of experiences that I can bring to this club.
So what made you specialise in commercial or marketing side of the game, or have I got that wrong? I mean,
yeah, no, I did a business degree at Portsmouth, so as part of the course I had to do a placement that ended up being at Portsmouth Football Club, and I never really left. So I naturally, when I was there, kind of evolved into a marketing role, and I enjoyed it, and it was a way of fulfilling my love for the game in a business capacity, and that kind of evolved through time. So yeah, wherever I've been, I've just kind of pulled my sleeves up, got stuck in, tried to develop the club as much as I can, and learnt a lot, and I'm looking forward to doing that here.
Cardiff and Brighton, of course, promoted from Championship to Premier League.
Yeah.
Quite an experience, I guess, working for a Premier League club.
Yeah, unbelievable. And obviously I've worked in the Premier League with Portsmouth too, but both Cardiff and Brighton promoted for the first time in their histories to the Premier League. Again, it's an experience that you learn a lot from, and I've kind of seen both sides of the games, from promotions and relegations and the tough times and the good. But ultimately the people, the fans, the staff behind the scenes keep the club going and have to keep the club progressing in whatever way they can, and you have to do that regardless of what happens on the pitch. And I think hopefully I'll bring my experience and we can do that here at Rovers.
Wrong to assume, I guess, but being promoted into the Premier League, would that necessarily make your job easier because people want to support a Premier League side financially? I mean, certainly,
yeah. I mean, when the team's performing well on the pitch, I think everything tends to fall into place, and when they're not, then it makes it a little bit more difficult, and you have to be able to deal with both sides of the game, and when the team's performing well and when they're not, and ultimately the business needs to be sustained. We need to be doing things in the right way, and we need to be doing that regardless of what happens on the pitch. So yeah, so it's an easier job in the Premier League, and you have to do a lot less selling and a lot more order taking, but at the same time there's a lot more processes and protocols that you have to go through as well. So yeah, I've seen both sides, I've learnt from both sides, and I think you get a flexibility through that where you can kind of deal with most things in the game now.
If I were to ask you what you consider your most successful venture has been as a commercial or marketing manager, what would you say?
It's difficult. I think we achieved a lot at Portsmouth in the early days, purely because the backdrop was so horrific at the time, and there was a genuine chance that the club could go out of business. So to play my part in keeping them going and keeping the stadium full and doing 15 jobs just to try and keep things afloat, probably is a main achievement. But similarly at Brighton and Cardiff, there's other achievements that I'm proud of. We struggled at Brighton when we had a local tragedy with Shoreham air crash, which was only a couple of minutes away from the stadium, and the club was heavily involved in effectively supporting the community through that time. And so again, I learnt a lot through that, and that's something else that I look back on, and I'm really proud of what we did as a club at that time, and obviously playing my part in that personally.
People will say, or might say, you've been in the Premier League, you've just got promoted with Brighton, or Brighton just got promoted to the Premier League. You've come down to a League One club. Is there any particular reason for that?
Yeah, I mean, for me it's about the challenge. Things do get easier in the Premier League, and I'm keen to continue to develop and progress and learn and put my experiences to good use, and this club is moving in the right direction. There's a lot here that excites me. It's a blank canvas to try and put some of those things that I've learned and some of the ideas I've got to good use, and I'm really excited to get involved and start making some changes and see where we get to.
It's definitely a blank canvas, so what is your first step? You have to get to know everyone and everything?
Exactly that. I think with any football club there's lots of different complexities in terms of how they operate and lots of reasons as to why they operate in that way. So first thing you've got to do before changing anything is get to grips with what's going on at the moment and why. Get to know the people, get to know the supporters, and then from there we can build some foundations for further development.
I think you've already been swamped by messages from supporters, haven't you? And I'm sure a lot of them have got different ideas to your own and different ideas to other supporters. How are you going to draw all that together?
Yeah, I think it's really important. It's something that all the fans will see from me is that I'm open and approachable, and I use social media a lot, and I'm happy to take any feedback that they've got on board. And I think for me, no idea is a bad idea. It's just a case of taking them all on board, seeing what works for us at the time, see whether it's commercially viable, and then take the next steps if need be.
Do you envisage any immediate changes? So, I mean, you've only started this week, so it's very difficult, but what would your immediate concerns be?
I wouldn't say there's any immediate concerns. I think the club is doing a really good job considering the transition over the last year and a half in particular, and so for me it's a case of taking stock, getting to know everybody, learning from what we're doing, and obviously there's certain things that I've identified already that I think we could change, certain things I think we could do better, and so we'll be looking at that over the next few weeks and months. But with the majority of these things there's no quick fix, and we're not going to do things and make changes without properly reviewing them and coming up with a strategy and understanding why we're doing things and not just doing it for the sake of it.
Will you be out looking or meeting people in the local business community?
Yes, so that will obviously be underpinning what we do. I think there's one side of it which will be interacting with fans and getting feedback and looking to develop the matchday experience, but we'll also be looking to drive commercial revenues at the club. So yeah, I'll be out in the community, I'll be meeting local businesses, I'll be having lots of conversations, and I'll be using that Premier League experience again to work with local sponsors and partners and show them how we can activate and add value to their business.
Obviously your brief, I'm guessing, is to bring additional revenue into the club. Yeah. Exciting times with possibility of a redeveloped stadium, new training ground, and lots of possibilities for you to get things sponsored and bring money in and bring new businesses in.
Yeah, I mean the club's moving in the right direction, and I think there's a lot of similarities here as to what you see at Brighton in terms of 10 years ago they were playing at an athletics track and they had no real infrastructure, and the club's come a long way in that time, and I'm looking forward to being part of the journey here and looking to use some of that experience to bring to the club and obviously develop our commercial assets and see where we get to. So yeah, lots to look forward to. I think what you'll see from me is we'll look to continually develop and drive things and improve on the season before. So wherever we're at now is our starting point, and I'm sure in 12 months time it will look a little bit different, and in 3 years time it will look completely different, and that's what excites me, that's what we're working towards, and yeah, just really looking forward to getting properly involved and seeing where we go.
Commercial director as opposed to commercial manager, does that mean you report to the board? You're not actually a director?
Yeah, so it's a non-exec position, but I report directly to Steve Hamer, the chairman. And he's obviously shown a lot of faith in me to bring me here, and I'm in constant communication with him and the rest of the board. So yeah, it's a great position for me. It's a good place to be, and look forward to hopefully having some success here.